I'm just looking at disruption in Ireland over these migration and immigration disturbances, and more disturbances. Dundalk last night. Yesterday we were talking about protesters in Dublin who attacked police, set vehicles on fire at a site designated to house asylum seekers. So this was a former factory. Let's go to Irish commentator Malachy Steenson on this one this morning. Malachy, good morning to you. Just trying to gauge how serious this is or how this is developing.
Good morning, Eamon and Ellie. Many thanks for having me on. This is a situation in Ireland that's been developing probably since November 2022, when the government here decided to abandon all planning legislation, allow office buildings to be turned into asylum centres, mainly for single males in the 18 to 30 kind of category, and impose those centres into mainly working class communities which are already devoid of any real services and are abandoned in general by the political and NGO class. And we have in Ireland now a country that's run by politicians who are more interested in what their European masters think of them than they are about the Irish people. We've a political and NGO class which is beholden to woke liberalism. And we have, you wouldn't believe, in this country, 33,000 NGOs who receive €6.5 billion per year and employ around 200,000 people to lobby government. And that's what they mainly do.
Malachy, how does this happen? We've got an audience here yesterday, over the weekend and today, who are looking at this and saying this wouldn't be allowed to happen in England. And these politicians, they speak separately from people. People feel totally detached on this, that they have no say in this whatsoever. How does this situation come about that the politicians are so out of touch?
There's a total disconnect between the Irish political class and ordinary people. If you look at what happened last week, for instance, on Monday, now the protest in Coolock has been going on. There's been people sitting outside that protest and in the camp for 3.5 months with no violence, no difficulties, and the police moved in at 3:30 on Monday morning and moved them out. And that led to some difficulties during the day, and there was a JCB digger burnt out. But what exacerbated the situation was that the Gardaí, and the people who are doing what they call rioting, and you come from the north, Eamon, the rioting in Dublin, wouldn't even merit the name riot in Belfast. But they brought in the public order unit, riot police, to attack young teenagers, basically. And during the course of that, they sprayed a 78-year-old man directly in the face, an elderly woman on crutches. And when myself and 3 other recently elected councillors in the Dublin area approached the police lines on Monday evening to try and de-escalate the situation, we were pepper sprayed in the face. And they refused to discuss or de-escalate it. Now, on Friday night, the people of Coolock, almost 2,000 of them, came out in a protest, a very peaceful protest, no difficulties whatsoever. But that wasn't the narrative that the state wanted. So after that protest, they sent in the riot squad again to attack young lads. We saw the same yesterday in Dundalk, where a 13-year-old child was beaten to the ground by the public order unit.
Right, Malachy, I get the picture. Tell me what this has done. I mean, Ireland went from a conservative country to quite a liberal country, and now this is sort of biting them on the backside now. A fifth, 20-odd% of people in Ireland no longer identify with being Irish, which suggests a lot of them aren't from Ireland in the first place. Who opened up the doors? Why were the doors opened up so generously to migrants?
Well, we've gone from a population of 3.5 million to a population of over almost 5.5 million now, without building any infrastructure to deal with that. We have a shortage of hospitals, we have a shortage of schools, but most particularly we have a shortage of housing. We have 14,000 people in emergency accommodation, Irish nationals in emergency accommodation. The average price for a new house in this country now is about 450,000, which Dublin City Council somehow thinks is affordable. We have average rents for a one-bedroom apartment in Dublin, €2,000, a three-bedroom house, €3,500. And the woke liberals will tell us, oh, well, we need migration to run the health service. Well, if we didn't increase the population the way we did, the health service wouldn't be under the strains it's under. And also, our own doctors and nurses are being forced to emigrate because they can't afford to live here.
Yeah,
so
true.
if they could stay, we wouldn't need to import the people. But we've a class that and they talk about international obligations and the law. As far as I'm concerned, the government's obligation is to its own people. And we had the ludicrous situation, for instance, of the High Court in Dublin saying that the Irish government couldn't deport anybody back to the UK because of the Rwanda policy.
Yeah.
You know, and they said that the UK was not a safe country to return people to. Notwithstanding the fact that many of the people who have come into this country have been in the UK for 10 and 15 years, and they're just asylum jumping, and it's because of the better welfare class. But you ask, why did this happen? The Minister for Integration, Roderick O'Gorman, tweeted about 2 years ago in 12 different languages, come to Ireland and we'll give you your own house in 6 months. If I was sitting in somewhere in Africa or Somalia or somewhere like that and I heard that, I'd say, sir, we might as well go over there, look at the benefit system and he'll give us a house. And we had this flood, and it's coming right from Europe. Many people who have been across multiple jurisdictions to try and claim asylum and have failed everywhere. And we simply do not deport people. Last year we brought in an amnesty for people who had failed in their asylum application, who had gone right through to the High Court and failed at every step, and we don't deport them. And then eventually we give them an amnesty. Like,
well, I tell you, you're going to be getting
madness.
people from England applying for that situation. You know, if you're being offered a free house and everything like that, it's led to an incredible mess. We'll see, Malachy, how it's going to develop and how it's going to resolve itself as well. But a lot of our audience throughout the rest of Britain very worried by what they're seeing, and they dread that this could happen in the UK as well. So is there to be a lesson learned or not? Malachy Steenson, who's a commentator, appreciate your thoughts on things, Malachy. We're going to leave it there. Thanks for explaining all of that.
Lovely. Thanks, Eamon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.